and welcome to Lesser Homes and Gardens. I'm Nancy, and today we will be discussing one of the books from my rather extensive collection of Better Homes and Gardens published books from pre-1980. Collection is nothing without curation, so my rules are nothing with a copyright after 1979, and only Better Homes and Gardens. So that does include both their cooking, home decorating, gardening books, but also a plethora of other books on such varied topics as child rearing, crafts, medical advice. So I'm always looking for more. Most of these have been thrifted or bought secondhand, obviously. A few of them I have purchased off of places such as eBay. And today we are going to cover one of my absolute favorites. So put your pearls on and buckle up because we are going to go over the After Work Cookbook from, let us see, 1974. And here we are. Here is our lovely book, the After Work Cookbook, appetizing time-saving dishes, menus, and tips to help busy schedules. So they usually have some sort of point for each book. This one is time-saving recipes, presumably, in the early 1970s, a lot more women were entering the workforce. Having a stay-at-home parent and a working parent was becoming less and less frequent. So this is very much a part of the zeitgeist of the times. People were expected to have to put together a dinner for a family after coming home from work. So you see, we start with this beautiful, we have some pitas, our table of contents. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, look, lovely kebabs with that strange glaze that 1970s photos of food so often give us. And here we have our opening thesis of the book, which is, if you're busy and you have to hurry home to cook meals for yourself, your family, or friends, Better Homes and Gardens After Work Cookbook is aimed squarely at you. And who isn't busy these days? Bachelors, college students, working mothers, and women employed outside the home surely are. To help you make the best use of your limited meal preparation time, After Work Cookbook has been divided into 3 recipe sections, each based on the amount of time you can spend in the kitchen, plus a special help section near the end of the book. This includes a list of basic kitchen equipment, blah, 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 blah. So these sections are Cook Ahead, which, as you can see, this is some very exciting looking salmon. I don't know why this salmon does not look appetizing, but there's something about that color combo that just seems weird. But the Cook Ahead section is all things that you would cook ahead and just heat after work, which is a nice thought in terms of time saving. We've got a casserole. Casseroles feature strongly in the Cook Ahead section. We've got our lovely slip the refrigerated spaghetti and meat rolls into the oven as soon as you come in the door. You'll have an hour to read the newspaper before cooking the spaghetti and assembling a big tossed green salad. So one of the things I enjoy about Better Homes and Gardens is all of their little asides are very positive. There's a lot of exclamation points and the sense of like, this is going to solve all of your problems. We have some lovely, I don't know if you can quite see that. The camera's picking it up, but we have some lovely food stains. And the steak parisienne is marked as an entertaining special, so they highly recommend that you not only cook that, but serve it to other people. This is a lazy paella, which, I don't know, something about boned meat in a rice dish seems a little bit, but I guess a lot of paellas are that way, so whomst am I to criticize? We have some stroganoff steaks right here. I hope you guys can see. And oh, this is an absolute classic of mid-century Better Homes and Gardens. The sour cream sauce mix, lemon juice, and dillweed combo with lemon-flavored gelatin to produce the distinctive flavors in sweet sour chicken mold. To serve, fill the center with an assortment of crisp fresh vegetables. So this is, yes, you guessed it. It is a Jell-O mold filled with dillweed, chicken, and sour cream sauce mix. They no longer make that. Suspended in lemon Jell-O. So I do not like savories in my Jell-O. Thank you very much. Here we have sides and desserts. We have an actual lettuce-based salad. A grasshopper pie. With a grasshopper pie in the freezer, can a party be far away? I love their little attitude. Then this is the in a jiffy section. These are things that are actually intended to be very quick to prepare. This is a chicken dinner omelet. So it is a omelet with chicken and a sauce. Not a terrible idea perhaps, but. And this is one of my absolute favorite contributions of the whole book, which is if you don't have time to make dinner, fondue. Because if you think about it, you're just cutting things up and making your family cook their own goddamn dinner, right? That would be fast. Like from cooking, like in terms of prep time to putting dinner on the table, you're just chopping veggies. So an interesting thing to consider. Oh, another classic casserole. We have the Frank Kraut dinner. So this is cheese soup, caraway seed, frankfurters, and sauerkraut. Yeah, so that's a lot to all go in one dish. They do still sell condensed cheddar cheese soup. Not at every grocery store, but I do have one near me, so we may have to at some point experiment with some of these beautifully arranged casseroles. And here we have another one of my favorite what were they thinkings. Olay is what they'll say after sampling this Mexican skillet. Canned chili peppers and tamales in it account for its south of the border name. So this is, I believe, cubed chicken cooked with cheddar cheese sauce, condensed cheddar cheese soup and tomatoes. And then you slice canned tamales into little circles and arrange them attractively on top of the chicken in the skillet and allow it to cook through. Yeah. There's no cheese in there other than the cheese soup, so it's going to be very saucy, but very, very strange and interesting one. We may have to make that sometime. And this is one that I actually have experimented and made. The confetti meatball supper. It is white rice cooked and mixed with frozen mixed vegetables and pressed into a Jell-O mold or bunt pan. I used a bunt pan. This calls for canned meatballs cooked in a sauce that also includes cheddar cheese soup. I had to substitute frozen meatballs because I could not find canned. It makes for a presentations points, it scores high. Taste points, it was okay. This is a big theme of cooking from this era is you spend a lot more time arranging food and tend to rely more heavily on canned and pre-prepared ingredients. So it's very, very interesting. That is our confetti meatball supper. What are we having for dinner tonight, Mom? Confetti meatball supper. Yay! I guess. Here again, this is basically tuna salad in a flour cut tomato, which again, presentation-wise, lovely. It seems like the presentation would actually slow you down a lot. You could just serve your family a salad with tuna salad and Anyway, got some more sides and desserts. This is another classic of this book. Frozen strawberries, canned peaches, and vanilla ice cream become company special strawberry peach sundae when you add rum and set a flame. So again, if you don't have time to make dessert for your guests, just set something on fire. When was the last time Martha Stewart found that solution? And then this section is the make it easy section. Do you dread meal preparation time because you're left with no time to relax? If so, start enjoying both. The recipes in this section are simple to prepare and require little attention while cooking. So once the dish is on to cook, you can sit down and read the paper, have a cocktail, accomplish other tasks. So these are things that have very little prep time. Cook time might be longer, but it doesn't require attention. This is another thing I kind of appreciate about a lot of the Better Homes and Gardens books. While they are ridiculous, use a lot of exclamation points in their descriptions, they have kind of thought it out. Like, not having enough time to cook looks different. So breaking it into 3 sections of like, okay, you're not going to have time to cook during the week, but you could assemble a casserole and put it in the freezer, or cook something the night before because because Tuesdays are your really busy night. So you have something you can prepare Monday and then just pop in the oven when you get home, versus something that like I've had no plan and I need to cook it really fast versus like, I just need to actually be able to sit down and not be Oh, hello, Jeremy. This is our resident angel baby, Jeremy, popping in to say hello. He will now sit next to me in a cardboard box, as a cat should. This is an orange glazed rib. I know that citrus with meats is a big thing for a lot of people. Somehow, anytime they orange glaze something and then photograph it, it's shiny in a way that I don't like. Look deeply at those ribs. Do they seem appetizing? They might be delicious, but... Oh, and then look at this pièce de résistance. This beautiful, it's a sweet potato turkey pie. So it is a sweet potato crust with turkey pie filling in the middle, lovingly garnished. Very exciting. As you can imagine, there's a lot of cream of condensed soups in there. But actually that probably, while it looks a little odd in this sort of bullseye, fresh crudité on the side shenanigan, that probably is quite tasty. Just photograph strange. We have an oven-baked cheese-crumbed Cornish hens, which is quite lovely. Very, very fancy. Oh, can we all just look lovingly at the cherry glazed pork chops? There's nothing like a maraschino or a glacé cherry that doesn't scream should be put on meat products. An elegant yet easy entree for the hostess who wants to prepare a special dinner for 2 after 5. I feel like they're implying you should invite a man over to your home after work and cook him these pork chops. Got some more stuffed steaks. Ooh, shrimp and macaroni casserole with Chex Mix on top. Lovely. Oh, and this is a hearty chicken soup. So that actually probably, well, it does not photograph super well. That's probably pretty tasty and also probably fairly economically good. Chicken soup is one of those things that you can make fairly inexpensively if you want to. Oh, and another. I did grow up on casseroles, so I am, while any Jell-O molds are gonna turn me off, I'm like, casseroles, hey, tell me more. So this is the Fiesta corn bake next to a crab apple peach dumpling. and deviled nuts. See, again, if you don't have time, I would say buy the snacky things like nuts and focus on your main dishes and maybe your sides, not the like, to each their own. So the Fiesta corn bake, cream style corn, sliced carrots, fresh or frozen chopped onion, olives, parsley, breadcrumbs, hot sauce, and butter or margarine. So it's a pretty standard corn, Mexican adjacent. I always refer to that as Tex-Mex, Mexican inspired flavor palette corn casserole. Got some apple-filled squash with sliced apples and acorn squash. And we have another Jeremy sighting. Oh, there he goes. It's like seeing Bruce in Jaws, just a flash in the pan. And again, this section is called special helps. I'm not sure you can see that far over. Does meal planning stump you? Are you concerned about good nutrition, but not sure how to make meals nutritious? Oh, anytime they start talking about nutrition, it gets quite delightful. 1974 was 50 years ago now. So nutritional science has progressed. And so sometimes things get a little interesting. Most nutritionists today wouldn't look at this and say, oh, that must be the healthiest of meals. Anyway, do you have the supplies on hand to simplify cooking to fit your busy schedule? So this is kind of just a catch-all suggestions, things you might want to have in your pantry to make it so that you don't have to go to the grocery store before you start cooking, that sort of thing. Meal planning. Well, they have a section on cooking for one or two. They also have a separate book, cooking for one or two. Look at this, the basic food groups. Dairy, fruits and veggies, which they've included a potato as a veggie. They haven't included their potato in the grains. Meats, they do have peas in with the meats as sources of protein. So if you saw this in a modern cookbook, you wouldn't immediately scream. Think good nutrition. And then they have all of these little grids of suggested menus, like a main dish, an accompaniment to kind of help you if you're just frazzled. What am I going to feed these demanding youths? Emergency substitutions. This is always helpful. And again, this is probably designed for somebody who hasn't cooked very much in their life, struggles to cook, and our index. And that has been and the back page really highlights some of my favorites. We've got that beautiful ring. And that has been our Afterwork cookbook from 1974. Stay tuned. We will have plenty more. I have about 97 books at this point in the collection. So we will have plenty more to talk about soon. Have fun. Don't eat anything weird.